You know what's funny about this? I got this hat, and it's got this Ahsoka-themed top.
Okay.
And then it's got these two words in Arabic here, right? And you're like, oh, okay, it says Ahsoka Tano on it, right? It's a cool Ahsoka hat. It says Star Wars. I was like, for real? Star Wars? Lame. Cool Ahsoka hat.
Ah, yes, come in. Our featured presentation is about to start. You have entered into cult cinema with the dastardly evil Cheese Film and my partner in crime, Hecubus. This is the Grindhouse Podcast. We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome back to the Grindhouse Podcast. I am your host, Cheese Film. And today, Hecubus and I
Are both wearing hats.
We are both wearing hats, but we're going to talk about a film about the end of the world. A film describing creatures of the imagination couldn't even comprehend. A world in which society is crumbled and who knows what remains. We're talking about Akira.
From 1988.
1988. Akira came out in 1988 and sparked the world's interest in anime.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is there was a kind of an anime show called Star Blazers that was on before before I had to go to school. And man, I was in love with that. If you ever see it, it's also called Space Battleship Yamato. And it's awesome. It's awesome. And it was after Star Wars, so it got to be here in America too. But Akira, I was reading the newspaper one day. It was a Sunday, the Sunday New York Times, and I was going through the movie stuff, and it said, this is the most expensive animated movie ever made. I put the paper down and went down to Ithaca, New York, because they had a kind of a grindhouse. It's more of an art house theater. And checked it out. And boosh! Blown. My head was gone. This movie is so beautiful.
Randy saw it too, which is a rarity here on
Akira! Yes, I did see it. I've seen it like a couple times now.
This is my first time viewing it. I got it, I watched it, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, you should go. If it's ever played anywhere, go see it. Because it's just better that big.
If you can see this in theaters, I would say go see it in theaters.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of did.
Did you?
Yeah, I have like a little theater room.
Yeah, you could see it pretty big.
So,
is it still sharp?
Yeah, it looked good.
And not washed out? That'd be the thing I would be worried about, because the colors...
The colors are what, is so important about this movie.
The colors...
It's a lot of atmosphere.
The movie consists of 2,000... Oh, no, that's not. That's the shots. The colors. There's hundreds of colors. Some of them are unique to only this movie.
Yeah. Court and I were talking about this because she wanted to know, because this is one of those infamous films, like The Godfather.
Yeah,
like, you
really.
haven't seen Akira?
Yeah.
And you call yourself an anime fan?
Right. Or just
A fan
any kind of
animation
movies.
or movies, really.
Sci-fi especially.
So she kind of wanted, and I did too. I wanted to know what the big deal about this was.
Yeah. And that's what you got to do,
and
too.
a lot of this stuff that we'll talk about was why.
Yeah.
I guess the manga is a little bit more on the anti-government.
Yeah. It's there's 3 parts to the manga, because it's like, I think it was 4 years long.
Yeah.
And this is the middle part, basically.
It also ended up allowing people like Miyazaki to go on to have careers. Mm-hmm. It was a big jumping off point for a lot of huge names. But we usually kind of go through the plot. The plot of this is a little all over the place. I would say. It's kind of a
It
hard
is.
to digest plot.
It's like,
You say that, but your second time, you kind of get it more.
yeah, it does make more sense the more you see it. But it's like if you watch a book or a movie that was based on a book, and the book just has so much more in it that they can't do for the movie. That's kind of what that's the kind of feeling you get.
Well, so maybe...
I don't think it's a full-fledged developed like plot. You're supposed to fill in a lot of the pieces, but
What do you
like-
mean by that?
so these kids obviously aren't like there's no parents. So like these kids are delinquents. So you kind of get that, you piece that part of it. World War III happened.
Yeah.
So
that's how the movie
something
opens.
happened to make Tokyo like this, and then you're like,
Neo-Tokyo.
oh, okay, so this is kind of just life. And then you find out, oh, the government has this little thing, and you find out about Akira, and then that's the rest of the movie is like, what is Akira? What, the mystery of Akira? Is
Yeah.
Akira even real? Yada yada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's not a straight line to that point.
yeah, World War III happens and Tokyo's destroyed. Then it's rebuilt, and the story takes place 20 years after that.
Yes.
In 2020,
In
I believe.
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
COVID didn't happen.
And listen, though, Japan hosted the Olympics. The end of this takes place at the Olympic Stadium. Japan hosted the Olympics in 2020.
2019. Oh, yeah, well, that's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
I wonder if they knew that.
Somebody
Said we
knew it,
had
but a lot of us kind of people did.
I wasn't a big fan of this movie.
You gotta give it a second watch because
I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. Right after they go to Neo Tokyo, it says at the bottom, and they're driving their bikes, I was sold. The colors were so amazing.
I think the editing in this movie is fantastic. I think the colors are breathtaking. I think
it is.
this movie has a lot of positives, but I think it's way too long, and I think it is it loses
Overrated?
me over time. You know, like I kind of don't need to see a giant epic fight here and then here again and then here again, all in the third act. It's just kind of it gets clunky.
So I think part of your movie telling experience, or like as someone who likes animations and likes a lot of like picture based stuff, I guess it's not plot, it's not character driven. Like you,
Please silence your cell phones.
Tatsumo and all them people,
Tetsuo.
like you don't really even need to know their names. They're just filler.
You do have to because they scream them. Tetsuo!
You do, but
Kaneda!
Well,
But they're-
your character. You gotta know their name. It's just a filler. You're
watch it
following
for
them.
how cool it is and how like it is breathtaking.
It's not
you watch it
cool.
for that, and then
Yeah, you can watch it on that level. I get what you're saying, Tom, but I think it does have everything else anyway.
But all of these characters are losers. They're not cool. They're not even drawn cool. He's
What do
just
you
a
mean?
nobody. Put up the main guy.
he's
Tetsuo?
Been
Yeah. Huh?
yeah.
He just looks like a guy. That doesn't
Yeah.
look like a guy. Look, if you're referencing like modern day anime, and that's boring. He's just a dude. That's not cool.
It's kind of supposed to be grounded.
It's
It's not some Dragon Ball Z thing.
But that's where it ends.
No, it doesn't end
He
like
literally looks like Goku. The guy at the very end looks just like Goku.
Kaneda? I mean Tetsuo?
Yeah, he looks like
With
Vegeta.
his hair going
Yeah.
like that? Well, maybe they
Oh
got
my
it from
gosh.
that. But yeah, that's...
I disagree.
I disagree, too.
But you know what else is
I
supposed
think
to
that's
be
just
grounded?
mad scientist look.
Yeah, like disheveled and stuff.
Now, again, I will preface: I don't really like anime.
Yeah, it's not
So
my-
like,
I don't
it's
either.
not the stuff. What isn't really? I don't get into it. It's cool to like look at, but I don't know. It's just hard. And the over energized acting. It's just kind of just.
Did you watch-
Feels like a bad movie.
What I don't like about anime, and this doesn't do this, I basically call it the exposition show because all they do is talk
All
about
they
what
do
they're
is
going to
talk.
do. And,
Yeah.
and instead of showing you, they tell you.
And they
it's-
don't stop telling you.
No, they don't. And Mikey and Tommy like these ones, and Mikey was trying to get me into it. I'm like, you just told me everything. I don't need to watch it now.
And like, I know that a lot of people out there really, really like it. Randy being, the one fighting with me on this.
Yeah, this is a cult classic, literally.
But I will give it its credit. Like I 100% understand why, especially if you like anime, why this is like the Godfather for you.
Right.
If you like animated movies in general, like this is beautiful. You'd probably love it.
I don't know if it's not the most. This is all hand drawn.
It's all hand drawn.
Every single thing is hand drawn. 2,000 different pictures.
Not in like it looks cheap, but you can tell because it looks like a good hand drawn movie, like Snow White looks like.
Yeah, like those because they use more pictures per second than they do nowadays.
It's very fluid.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I didn't like how fluid it got. Like there's a part where he's mocking, I think, the cop, and his face does this weird motion, and I'm like, it looked bad.
Yeah, it looked like Japanese cartoon to me. just that Japanese cartoon. But that part towards the end when what you call it? He's a doctor, the little short guy, is looking at the thing, and he's like, it's a cosmic rebirth.
Yeah.
That's the only computer thing, and it was still computerized within hand-drawn parameters,
yeah.
So.
And there's a lot of stuff that I think is really cool because, like right in the beginning-ish, the helicopters are flying, they're taking their buddy away.
Oh,
and
yeah.
A building crosses, and it crosses in a way where because I know how they do some of this animation, once you know how they do it, you can see it. Where you have like the plates of glass,
right.
and you're moving along this one while tracking that one, and you can appreciate that more.
Right.
So I did appreciate that. Like I'm not just trying to crap on this movie. I just didn't think it's as good as it. It shouldn't have been 2 hours. This could have been a
6 hours, right?
80 to 90-minute movie.
I think things that you would have cut out to make it 80 or 90 minutes, I think they need to be in there. I think it needs to be 2 hours. It should be a show.
Yeah,
it's so
it should be
dense
more
and long.
Like, I don't think you need any of the bike gang stuff in the beginning.
Well, it sets up the characters, especially the dynamic between Kaneda and Tetsuo.
Kaneda. But,
yeah, Kaneda, you're right. Kaneda.
Yeah,
Kaneda.
and you got to get that,
Canada.
like,
you know what?
you're establishing, because these are kids in this, essentially, and they're not good people, and you're really...
No, they're a street gang.
The idea of the Akira power is everyone does have it, or yada yada, and it's how you would choose to use it. This guy was born naturally gifted, could have had friends, had everything going for him, but the jealousy and the greed and the envy was like, oh no, dude, now I can be the guy. I can be.
It turns into that monster.
It turns into
physically, manifestation of his emotions. Yeah, which is phenomenal. I love that.
Disgusting. It's
Yeah.
really, they do a good job at making
And they
that.
kill people too.
Yeah, there's a lot of death.
That general doesn't get killed; he gets sucked by away. But the girl
kills the
does.
guy,
The girl dies.
His girl, yeah.
and the dude who relieves him of power shoots him in the street
The
like a
scientist
dog.
dies too.
The scientist dies. A lot of people die.
Yeah.
And
it's not clean.
It doesn't feel clean. That is something I liked about this too. Even how polished and bright and colorful it looks, it still feels like a dirty city.
It does.
And a city,
And all that had to be drawn. You know?
Yeah, it did.
All that garbage.
We're still recording, right? On the camera. I've been having problems with that.
With this?
With the camera on the TV. Look at the TV. Is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay, because it hasn't been. That's why I'm asking.
I've been mounted. You're good.
Anyway, right around this time, it was to stop recording.
No, you're Boltar's still running.
Sweet.
But Akira being kind of not the main character.
Yeah, I was always
Or the
waiting
villain.
the first time I saw it.
Or a
what
love
is it?
interest. Yeah, I was like, because I thought,
And then when they show you, like, wow, that's so cool.
that's it. Well, I said this movie's got a lot of cool stuff. I haven't even talked about all the cool stuff yet. I just said I didn't really care for it, and everybody tells me I have to watch it until I like it. But because I thought it was probably some other character I don't even know. I thought Akira was a girl in a red coat riding the motorcycle.
Huh.
That's not who Akira is.
No.
The guy in the red coat riding a motorcycle is a guy.
Kaneda.
And he's our main character, Kaneda.
Canada.
See, there's a what do you call it?
Translations or
Overdubs. I forgot what one was called. They did it at a certain place, and that's like Stanford, the Stanford version, and another version. And the Stanford one was the original one, so it's always Kaneda to me, because that's how I first heard it.
I was gonna ask, did you guys watch the dub or the sub?
I've seen the sub, but
the dub.
I prefer the dub.
I
didn't get enough more out of because that's why I watched the dub or the sub, because somebody had written that you get more story out of it, and I didn't. So
I'm a avid anti-sub guy.
So the sub for the argument for sub and dub is the dub you get, yes, it's in English, so you have where you can understand it and you don't have to read while watching a cartoon.
Right.
So there is that. The bad part of that is it's now all that bad acting, all that bad voice acting, now you really get to hear it. And it's in a language you do understand, so that can ruin a show. This one does a really good job at it, I think.
I think so too.
And then the subtitles is there's one part where they do the Akira, and then he goes ah, and the bell rings.
Yeah.
That's different in the dub than in the sub, and I think it's a better scene in the sub than in the
What's
dub.
different about it?
The voice actors don't change as much. Like it's the same.
It's all
voice saying-
monotone,
It's no, it's a high pitched like kid voice saying Akira, and it dings. And then in the dub, it's like the three different kids' voices, which I think just isn't needed. It just looks better,
that's
it just feels better tempo wise in the sub.
Okay. But it's character-wise better in the dub.
Yeah.
This movie also sparked a lot of memes. I've recognized a lot of scenes from this in meme culture, and the Akira slide, which is
that's
infamous.
awesome.
Everybody does it. Shadow the Hedgehog does it in the new Sonic movie.
Does it.
Is not a big deal. It's not something that's even focused on. It's a blink and a miss thing.
Yeah, I think it only happens once too.
Right
does
in
only
the
happen
very,
once.
very,
It's the very
beginning.
But it's cool.
It is cool.
It is cool. But like if I told you like, oh man, you've got to watch this movie. It's so cool. He slides on his bike. It's all the imagery, everything you see. And like if you looked at your phone for 2 seconds and looked back on the screen, you would have never seen it.
Yeah, right.
It's not, and there's no like cool like slow-mo. He just kind of does it and it moves on.
Right, because it's part of that whole fight,
Yeah, there a whole
which is
fight
awesome.
going on.
Man, that fight is awesome.
And he
It's a
stuck the
brutal
landing,
fight.
and the clown
Yeah, it
guy
is.
didn't.
yeah,
Tetsuo whatever his name is.
Kaneda.
Yeah, Canada stuck it. He was the winner.
But like, this is animated, and you really get a sense to the speed
Yeah, you
that they're
do.
driving at while they're having this battle. It's really cool. That and like all those protests and stuff, the fire during the all those, they're like religious protests and government protests, like constantly.
Yeah.
But the fire looks like real fire. It's awesome. Everything, just looking at it.
It's beautiful.
Look, you don't want to see the story that some people are like about. Just turn it off and play your own music. Play Dark Side of the Moon while you're watching it.
I mean, I would compare it to like a Ghibli movie and just how beautiful the artwork is.
Yeah, right. I know what you're
Like,
talking about.
You know, yeah, because it's honestly like every single how they frame the city, and you've got them walking, how you've got just
The attention
the
to detail.
vibrancy of everything. Like
Yes.
it really does. It sticks with you.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not over here like, wow, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen, I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
because
good.
it's good.
Yeah.
In a way that you don't expect it to be. Like I didn't go into an 80s anime movie thinking
Yeah.
this is going to be, especially with what we've got now. I've not seen Attack on Titan, but I know those fights are amazing. I haven't seen Demon Slayer, but I know the color and the animation and that is amazing. I've only ever seen the greatest anime, My Hero, and Yu-Gi-Oh. So like
Yu-Gi-Oh.
having those two under my belt, I was like, well, this is gonna be bad.
Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't do the
Yeah, they do.
exposition stuff as much.
Yeah, they do.
Well, it explains the cards, but it has a story too. I like Yu-Gi-Oh way more than like Pokemon,
Yeah.
or any of that crap. Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of close. It feels closer to that Star Blazers show I was talking about than like some of these other ones that are just like stupid and goofy.
And the first Yu-Gi-Oh is also awesome. With,
Yeah.
they're just better characters than.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if the Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds was inspired by this.
Oh, I think 1,000,000%.
Because it's also
Without
kind
a
of set in
doubt.
a more dystopian future where all the
In
they got
Tokyo,
bikes, it's all
yeah.
Tokyo.
No, this is I think 1,000,000%.
They're a gang of hoodlum kids just kind of together.
Literally a gang of bikers.
Yeah. He's got a cool coat for some of it, and he's the edgy main guy. He's got cooler hair.
Hey.
I cannot believe they just made this guy look like a guy. Anime is so unique. Everybody looks like something. And this guy just kind of looks like my nephew.
This is your first like real life anime.
I guess so. I mean,
Because yeah, there are some of them like that, but like
I've seen a lot of the Studio Ghibli stuff, and I wouldn't really call any of that normal.
No, but that's
I've
more
seen a lot of the
fantasy.
superhero stuff, and that's not normal. So yeah, I guess this is just as normal as it can be.
Because like, there's a anime that I like. One season is called Parasite. Parasite.
That's a
Maximum.
Korean movie
Yeah.
about home
And
invaders.
the dude is just it literally is
About
just a
froggers.
normal guy like this, but it's still good.
But yes, this movie is what brought anime to the west of Japan.
Yeah, well, to the entire world.
Yeah, I'd say the entire world. They say to the west, but
Yeah.
like if you're at the very, very
But-
end of all of everything,
Yeah, depending on
everything's
which
to the
way you
west.
travel, because Russia is west of
Japan.
And in 2021, Russia banned this movie.
Wow, way to
Because-
go!
Possible damage to children's health and psychological development. They banned a few things, but this was one of them. But this
This is
isn't a
great
kid's movie.
I think this is
I
a
agree.
kid's
It's not
movie.
a no.
Well,
it is not.
kids can watch it, but I wouldn't have a problem with any kids watching it. Why not?
Well, yeah, why not?
It's just a weird
The
fever
dude
dream
gets
nightmare for them.
Obliterated. Like the people in the hallway when he escapes get eviscerated, and there's just meat chunks falling down.
I know what you're talking
the
about.
guy itself.
That was awesome. Oh my god, it's so cool.
Yeah, and then
I mean, I'm
And,
not saying
also
also
the-
show
that
a
gang-
4-year-old.
That gang rips what's her
the
name's
lady's
shirt off,
and then just punches her in the face.
But,
and
yeah.
then she falls on the ground.
All right, fair enough. Maybe it's not.
And his guts fall out,
show.
too.
Yeah, he did like
Well, but
yeah,
they didn't
he's
really, you
tripping
just
the
see
whole
him.
time.
Yeah, it wasn't made for kids.
I would let
What about when the toys all gather
an
and come to
11-year-old.
life?
No, that was awesome.
God, I love that. It's so cool.
Oh, you guys are so lame.
And they're on those flying car things through that like sewer kind of
yeah.
weird
Yeah.
place. I love this movie, and there's a lot about it that suits me because there's a big government conspiracy too,
Yeah, it's
and,
kind of going on at the
which is
same
what
time.
Akira is.
Yeah, well, yeah, we didn't even get the. Haven't even said what Akira. The whole big reveal of the movie.
Yeah, and then it's when they reveal it, you're like, what? What is this?
Yeah.
And then you guys like start with it because you're like, what is going on with this movie? Where they got the bikes at the very beginning, and everything looks good. Then those little blue kids, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Well, they're not kids; they're adults that look like kids.
Right.
And then when you finally, these weird reveals and stuff keep coming, and then when Akira comes, you're like, what?
What the hell?
It's awesome. So Akira was a project that the Japanese government was working on
more than a
for
project.
psychic stuff, like kind of like MK Ultra that the CIA did. And the one kid, and his name is Akira, right?
Yeah, the kid
the
is
kid's name is
Akira.
Akira, and he's way too powerful. And isn't he the reason that old Tokyo got destroyed?
Allegedly, he's the reason that
Right.
all that happened. They all say that it didn't, but I mean, from the end of this,
Hey, that's
think
what I
you're
get.
led to believe that. Yeah, he just
That's what
So
I
they
got.
dissect Akira
Yeah, they rip him apart.
And he's in like
jars, just like
jars, just like that.
They
with
got
just
his
pieces of him,
like his brain or his nerves, and stuff, just like that.
just like that.
It's gross.
It's awesomely gross. And then he kind of comes back together as like his spirit or something, or some kind of
kind of saves the day
psychic, manifestation
to take Tetsuo
out, who is now a kaiju.
Yeah,
basically
amorphous baby blob.
It gets real
it's so cool.
body horror.
Yeah, that's what this is coined
nowhere. Like,
yeah, they do say body horror, and I guess some like his guts falling out, but that's only a hallucination. And then
there isn't
Akira
enough
monster.
of this to call it a body horror movie.
I
in my
don't think
opinion.
so either.
But
Not by a
and
long
it's a
shot.
pleasant
Good.
surprise because you don't expect it.
No,
And when it
and he's in pain when it's happening too. God, it's so cool.
it's terrible pain, horrible pain, and he can't stop it. And it because he
Like when
loses
he's
his
on
whole
that
arm.
that kind of chair thing.
the throne.
And he starts growing into the cement, and like when he gets up, he pulls part of it apart.
Yeah, oof.
It's just, man, this is a good movie. I love it. And then when he goes up to get the satellites, the Sauls, to attack him,
The soul,
I thought that was kind of clever.
the sunbeam.
Yeah.
and then there's absolutely no sound in that part.
I'm a big fan of silence utilized in
space.
movies. Like when The Last Jedi did it, when Alien Romulus did it.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah, when Holdo goes hyperspace through the Star Destroyer.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just silent. And you just see the ripples. Love
Yeah,
that.
that is cool.
Oh my God, awesome. When Romulus does it, when they're going into the asteroid belt, and like it's just silent. And then you hear like the thumps.
Yeah. Like you would hear it on the
impact.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps grinding and like it's nothing. It's horrifying how space works. And in this, he gets hit with a sunbeam, goes all the way up there, and like basically has a standoff with it.
Yeah.
And wins. And it's all quiet. I love that. A good sound design saves your bad movies.
Yeah, it does go. It goes a long way anyway.
Sound can make or break your movie.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a good movie with bad sound, you've got a bad movie.
Yeah.
If you got a bad movie with good sound, you've
You
got
got a
an
bad
alright
movie with good sound.
But yeah, so it's all over the place. It's kind of sets up on a table and has a whole bunch of different dishes. That's how I would describe this movie.
Yeah, it does. It is kind of like that.
You know, like
And they're kind of threaded together. And I
They
say
are.
thread because it's kind of thin. I don't have a problem with it though.
like the world's just another thing happening on this in this world. You know, so like they're trying to get their friend, but the military's doing this thing and he's doing that, and over here's going that way.
Yeah.
These
And
little
then
babies
all hell
have a
breaks
conspiracy.
loose.
Yeah.
Because they destroy the city. Well, no, it's not destroyed because he's at the end.
A huge chunk of it is.
They rain down that fire on it.
Yeah, that does destroy stuff.
Oy. But a beautiful animated movie. I
is.
think. Like if you take anything away, like I did, you take away that this is a visually beautiful movie. Like its storytelling is visually amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why the adults babies things. I don't get that.
What do you mean? Well, he's reborn.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
No, the
and then
old
he creates
people
an
who are
entire.
babies.
Oh, hells, yeah.
I think
yeah.
it's because they got like atrophied and drained. Because like how he is a case of where you're like, oh, whoa, he's an anomaly. He is like Akira, where he is that strong, and that's why they were like, no, he might be this next guy. Because these three guys, all three of them put together, were able to even hurt him, but they didn't even do anything really.
Yeah.
So
right.
they've been in this lab atrophying and only been used. Like they still take all that nasty meds, all that stuff, and the meds are what are like actively suppressing things. So I think it's just
Yeah, I gotcha. I think you're right.
or they're
That's a
weird
good
looking.
But then they have it all.
I don't
like,
love them. I don't.
themed
They're my
that
least
way.
favorite.
Like the government has the child's room
Yeah,
where there's
I don't know why
toys
they
and
act
a
like
big
kids.
kitty bed and it's weird.
Yeah, it is
Weird.
weird.
if they were taking us kids though,
Right. They probably spent their entire life there.
Yeah.
And they're atrophied, both in every sense of the word. Their psychic ability is atrophied.
Because that
their
girl
physical
can't do
growth.
anything.
They keep mind controlling
She could talk to
Canada's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Canada. Canada. I just say like Canada.
But like she mind controls her. She takes over her body for a while there.
I don't like that girl.
The girlfriend?
Girlfriend
Yeah,
girl?
she kind of just is in the way a lot.
Yeah, she is.
Isn't she the girl that like, yeah, you know, it's Sarah, she's coming with us. And
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
who are you guys?
Yeah, and then immediately is like, oh no, dude, I'm not even gonna entertain that you just saved my life.
Yeah, really. I also like how they try to help their friend, and then the police kind of shove them around and then book them.
Yeah.
They could have just left, but they straight up booked them. Like, rude. Like, it does do a lot of world building with like a authoritarian kind of government, especially when you got the general there taking
Just
over.
took over. It was like, no, arrest everybody. Go arrest them all.
Literally, like, are you guys crazy? Don't shoot me. Come over here. Like, eh.
He's like, don't shoot that guy. Shoot that guy. And then they just
But they didn't stop him.
those two just got shot for no reason.
The guy, just one guy comes up with his gun and he just pop. So I was like, oh, nobody's gonna try to stop that. You're there to stop the general from seizing control
And to arrest him, but you're not gonna.
Yeah, but the general, I guess, rolled higher charisma.
As soon as
Yeah.
nah, stop this.
What?
As soon as the general was like, nah,
okay.
we don't need to do all this.
But I think if you like sci-fi, you should definitely check this out because it's really like nothing you've ever seen.
Yeah, it is like nothing you've ever seen. It is very unique.
Yeah. And you might be thinking you're jaded because you've seen all the time travel and robot take over, all that crap.
Yeah.
If you watch this, you'll be
unique.
pleasantly surprised, I think, through the whole thing.
I agree. I think it's very well done. Again, there's not a lot I didn't like, but overall, like, I would recommend this to anybody. Just because I didn't, doesn't mean that you won't.
Randy Official definitely thinks.
Randy Official thinks I'm an idiot for not liking
I
it.
think it's okay.
Oh, you only think it's okay?
Yeah, I don't think it's the best.
You over here defending it?
It is the best.
Choose-
No,
Yeah.
because I think you watch movies for different than this reason. Like this movie was made.
Well, this movie has everything I watch movies for.
Yeah, it does.
Like everything.
Like you said, there's
also
other movies that are anime movies that would be like a better story, but aren't Akira. Like that aren't all.
Well,
Yeah,
so
but we're
like,
we're Western minded and have been for decades,
right.
and this is told in a
It's
in a different culture's
storytelling,
way. And
But
there's another
you've
thing
gotten
you can-
used to it. You watch anime.
Fair.
You're a weeb. I'm not. Like you are very well adjusted to the anime storytelling, which is very similar to this. That's why it all feels the same. It feels like it came from Japan. So
Yeah.
you think that this isn't, like up to my liking of storytelling, but it's the same thing. So I just think that we could have cut some things out. That's all. I like Spirited Away. I think Spirited Away has a lot of stuff in it too that kind of slows the plot down and drags things out. But I think Spirited Away is a better movie for other reasons. Like it's not boring. But yeah, so it goes on to influence the world,
Yep.
influence a lot of things, influences
opens a door.
Western culture now, and a lot of our lifestyle likes and art styles really are now being more and more inspired by
Yeah,
Japanese anime, which is
and manga because like American comic books are circling the drain right now with every aspect. And I think the way they were going about it, people that like that kind of literature or style, comic book stuff, manga outsell all DC and Marvel comics in America right now.
and they're books. Comic books are 13
Yeah, they're
pages at the
thick.
max. Manga they're big. It's
Yeah.
a book.
Yeah. I almost bought one of these too, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to bother because I'm not going to get all 400 or 220, however many there are.
Because
they're hard to find back then, too. Yeah.
That
it was in
too.
English, too.
Back then, I don't know who was selling them, because I doubt you had it.
Well, it was at Barnes & Noble.
They did do it. Because I know Barnes sells a lot. But, like, you go into, like, the mall, you go into FYE, and they have, like, maybe one or two.
Right.
You know, so they're kind of hard to find unless you know where to find them.
The one I was going to get, and then I was like, oh, no, maybe I'll get these. All 3 original Star Wars movies, because they were the only ones at the time, in manga form. And they were all right there. I'm like, I can come here every week and get one. But I didn't bother. And I should have got at least one.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been.
But yeah, so Randy, since you're a big anime fan, can you see where this has led us to today? Where, like, the track of Akira. How do we go from Akira to Attack on Titan?
I mean, I don't know. It's this is like the first one to be famous in America, but like anime and cartoons have been.
Yeah, like Speed Racer was a Japanese cartoon.
Yeah, what's it called? Astro Boy.
Star Blazers.
So I think it was just finally America was like, no, this is cool. And then since America is the world culture center,
right.
It was like, nah, everybody should really like this. And then Kanye West put it in stuff.
Yeah, I
Everyone
read
took
about
the
that.
shot, like, so it's more of like this is my roots. This is something I liked in the past. And that is cool. So you're like homaging it.
Okay. So it's not even that cool. Other things did it before it.
Yeah.
They did not have the same vibrant colors. And
it doesn't look like that.
It was more for kids. And then whereas this is not, it wasn't made for kids. But
isn't Speed Racer more like a Warner Brothers animated thing?
No, they just bought it.
That?
That's all. It was this from like the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about like the cartoon, and I thought it looked more like Scooby Doo than it did.
There might have been.
You know?
Yeah, it's another thing because they like we meant I don't know if maybe these new animes are using more pictures per second, but those like Speed Racer didn't, and they recycled stuff and like the Hanna-Barbera.
This was one of the first ones to use actual frames from the manga as storyboards. Like
right. Well, the same guy that wrote it made the movie.
Yeah, but like that, like before this really got big, you had to redo your story. You know, you're adapting a book, so you got to adapt it. But they were like, no, this is what we're gonna do. This is how it's gonna look.
Right.
This is what we're gonna. And he, it again, like it really
worked.
How things are now, where like you could pick up the latest issue of My Hero Academia and you're like, look, it's exactly the same, is because of this. Or I don't know what you watch, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Goes in tight.
He's a big Shonen Jump.
I liked stuff. I don't know what I'm watching right now.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up.
You give it 2 thumbs up?
Yeah.
I'd give it a thumb up.
It's good. I like it. I think people should watch it.
How many?
The thing is, I think I was so
thumbs up.
blown away because I had never seen anything like this before, and you guys seen stuff like this before this.
Yeah.
It got kind of tainted for you, but at least you can appreciate the Beatles-esqueness of it. It's like the Citizen Kane of anime.
Well, like A New Hope, I don't think is the best Star Wars movie, but I do appreciate what it's done for everything. I don't think the first Godfather is the best Godfather. I don't think Terminator is the best Terminator. It's all really about knowing how to appreciate art, because this is art and it's really well done.
I think so.
But yeah, I don't think I really have anything else to say about it. Give it a shot. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Right.
Because join the conversation. Because this is a great movie for discourse. And I think that...
Look how much Randy Official talked.
Yeah, Randy Official, he's always silent. He's like, well, Citizen Kane. Akira, he watched it. He watched it 4 times, he said.
2 or 3.
I've seen it a handful of times. I like it.
Yeah, I also noticed that I'm wearing a Star Wars hat, and you got the Star Wars shirt on. You got a black hat on, and I got a black shirt on.
What do you know? That's
Look
pretty
at
cool.
us. You know what's funny about this? I got this hat, and it's got this Ahsoka-themed top,
Okay.
and then it's got these 2 words in Arabic here, right? And you're like, oh, okay, it says Ahsoka Tano on it, right? It's a cool Ahsoka hat. It says Star Wars. I was like, for real? Star Wars? Lame. Cool Ahsoka hat. But that's all the time we have for this week, everybody. Stay tuned from a message from our sponsors.
Akira!
Have you ever wanted to buy a shirt, a coffee mug, a poster? Well, go to thegrindhousepodcast.com and you can buy all of our merchandise, from cool posters to desk mats, shirts, hoodies, hats, stickers.
Did you say coffee cups?
Coffee cups, magnets.
Make great gifts.
They do. And with Valentine's Day coming up,
Right,
and
get
St.
the one you
Patrick's
love,
Day and
something-
Christmas.
Something beautiful.
Yeah, and they'll know you went to Grindhouse. Every kiss begins with grind. Don't quote me on that. Also, check out our podcast on all podcast platforms. We are available for free on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Audible, anywhere. If it plays podcasts, we're there. We're even on Listen Notes. Put me at the top 1% of that, please. We're also on Audible, Audacity, which I didn't know had a...
Yeah, that's weird.
Because it's a...
sound mixing kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a program, so I didn't know they had
It's pretty audacious.
It is a pretty audacious idea. Check us out. Check out Trustfall, because they're pretty good. I hear they're coming out with a new single, maybe a whole album.
We're working on something.
Yeah.
In the works.
Can't wait for that.
And come back, because we love you.
And comment, and we'll like to hear what you got to say.
Yes, we've gotten a lot of comments. We've actually gotten a lot of... Hey, I'm talking. We've got a lot of comments, and we've gotten a lot of reviews and suggestions from you guys, too. I would like to shout out our 2 top commenters, Tom's Truth, and I think it was E-Money. You should check him out. He's pretty awesome.
You have to tell me who E-Money is after.
Well, you should. He's an EDM artist. He's a local EDM artist, and he loves this podcast. And we appreciate the love, and we want to share it with you.
Yes.
Grow the cult of She's Film and spread our word, because we are here. We love movies, and we'll catch you on the next time. She's Film out.